There's so much noise around weight loss right now. Trends, opinions, medications. It's hard to know what's actually right for you. That's where hers comes in. Through hers, you're connected with a medical provider who determines if treatment is right for you. And if prescribed, your treatment plan is personalized to support you in reaching your goals. Hers goes beyond medication by offering access to ongoing care, dosage and medication adjustments as needed, lifestyle and nutrition tips, and access to 24/7 support. I love how easy hers makes it to lose weight with proper medical supervision. Feel like your best self again. Visit forhers.com/ratchet to get a personalized, affordable plan that gets you. That's forhers.com/ratchet. Forhers.com/ratchet. Weight loss by hers is not available everywhere. Compounded drug products are not approved or evaluated for safety, effectiveness, or quality by the FDA. Prescription required. See website for full details, important safety information, and restrictions. Actual price depends on product and plan purchased. A BetterHelp ad. International Women's Day is this March. Time to celebrate all women. The leaders, the caregivers, the problem solvers, the hype friends, the how do you do it all types. Therapy can be a space to reflect, reset, and reconnect. And BetterHelp makes it simple by matching you with a qualified therapist based on your needs and preferences. No pressure, no guesswork. Visit betterhelp.com for 10% off. I like my underwear so comfortable that it feels like I'm not wearing any. I have to share the most amazing underwear that I've discovered. It's the Fits Everybody collection from Skims. It's like nothing I've tried before. I've never worn intimates that fit and feel like this. And by feel like this, I mean it feels like I have nothing on. That's how comfortable it is. You know, I'm a brief girl. I like a big panty. I tried the Fits Everybody full brief from Skims, and I absolutely love it. And they come in a color that is identical to my skin. So not only do I not feel like I have anything on, I don't look like it either. If you haven't tried the Fits Everybody full brief from Skims, you are missing out. I started wearing them a couple months ago. I don't wear anything else. I have enough of these undies to get me through a full vacation. It's truly life-changing. Everyone should experience this level of comfort in their life. If you're ready, shop Skims Fits Everybody collection at skims.com. After you place your order, be sure to let them know we sent you. Select podcast in the survey and be sure to select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. I like my underwear so comfortable that it feels like I'm not wearing any. I have to share the most amazing underwear that I've discovered. It's the Fits Everybody collection from Skims. It's like nothing I've tried before. I tried the Fits Everybody full brief from Skims, and I absolutely love it. And they come in a color that is identical to my skin. So not only do I not feel like I have anything on, I don't look like it either. If you haven't tried the Fits Everybody full brief from Skims, you are missing out. I started wearing them a couple months ago. I don't wear anything else. Shop Skims Fits Everybody collection at skims.com. After you place your order, be sure to let them know we sent you. Select podcast in the survey and be sure to select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those who don't identify as either, you are watching Ratchet and Respectable. Okay, you can see my background change. I'm in a new city. I moved from Cape Town, moved. I traveled from Cape Town to Johannesburg. I'm here for about a week, just in town to hang out with some friends. I haven't been back to Johannesburg in almost 3 years. If you're a longtime listener to the podcast, you remember that I used to live here. Kind of traumatic times. There was this thing called load shedding, i.e., we didn't have electricity for random periods throughout the day. It made doing the podcast a little inconvenient, but did it for a few months, figured it out, got through it, and ain't been back since. But I just wrapped up the Season World trip in Cape Town. The next Season World trip is in Accra, so I've got to make my way to Ghana. And when I was trying to figure out how to get from Cape Town to Accra, it wasn't the easiest flight path, and it was super expensive, and It took forever. So instead of flying 5 or 6 hours to Kenya and then another 6 hours over to Ghana or coming to Johannesburg and doing a really long layover in the airport, I just decided to come and crash in the city for a week, hang out with some friends, go to my favorite restaurants, maybe do some like history, cultural stuff that I missed last time I was here, or redo some stuff that I was really into, and then head on up to Ghana next weekend. So that is the grand plan. Don't hold me to it. You know, my travel plans be, ideas up in the air. I just have to be in Ghana in time for Easter because that's when the next Season World trip is. But even though I'm still in South Africa and I'm on a 6 hour time difference, I did get a chance to watch the Oscars last night. I usually record on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, but my baby, I don't even say that as like a crush. I say that as like, I feel like he's my little cousin at this point. Like, I love this man. He won an Oscar. Michael B. Jordan won his first Oscar last night. I was rooting for that man. I was rooting hard for that man. But he won his first Oscar, first nomination, first Oscar win, best lead male. He won for Sinners. Man, let me back up. I started watching the Oscars last night. I have an app that allows me to watch American TV in real time. So I stayed up until the middle of the night. I watched the red carpet, didn't see anything really thrilled me. Teyana Taylor looked amazing. Everybody else was whatever, not here to talk fashion. But I saw the awards open. I thought Conan was awful. I saw Best Supporting Actress, and Teyana Taylor and Wumi Musaku were nominated for that category along with some other ladies. But that's who I was rooting for. And Wumi, I'm biased. Sorry. I would have been fine if Teyana won, but I really, really wanted Wumi to win. But unfortunately, neither of them won Best Supporting Actress. And it was the middle of the night. I think it was, Oscar started at 8. It was after 2 already. And I was still exhausted from hosting the trip and then traveling over from Cape Town with all of those bags. Like, I literally laid in the bed all day yesterday and was still tired. So I was like, you know what? I will hope for the best and I will find out the results of, Sinners got nominated, I think, for either 14 or 16 nominations. And I was like, they got to win something. And I was really hoping, obviously, for Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Film, Best Picture. And then I wanted One Me to win. I wanted Delroy Lindo to win for Best Supporting Male. And I wanted Michael B. Jordan to win for Best Lead. And I was like, I'm just going to go to sleep and I'm going to hope for the best. So I woke up this morning. It was literally the first thing that popped in my head. And I laid in the bed for probably like 5 minutes because I knew if Michael B. Jordan didn't get Best Lead, it was going to throw me off for a while. I'm not going to say ruin my day, but I would have been very, very disappointed. So I laid in the bed and I was like, I hope he got it. I hope Ryan Coogler got acknowledged. Ruth Carter, I was also rooting for her for costume design. I checked my text first, and my bestie, who I hadn't talked to in like a really, really long time, he's married with like 4 kids. He texted me in the middle of the night and he said, God damn it, Wallace won. And I was like, he did it. He absolutely did it. So I log on to social media and my Instagram feed, especially, I'm crying. You can see me like tearing up. My whole feed is people replaying the moment that he won and goes to the stage to accept his award. Beautiful speech. Beautiful speech. When they announced his name, they got the cameras on, all the people who were nominated, and Michael B. Jordan looks fine. Like, he doesn't look like what he's going through. And then his name is called and you can see him exhale and his shoulders drop. So all the stress and tension that he was holding, the whole crowd gets up before he does. It takes him a beat to take it all in and then also like react. He leans over to kiss his mother. Delroy Lindo reaches over him and starts patting him on the shoulder. Ryan Coogler is sitting a couple rows back. He appears out of nowhere for a dap and a hug. And then Delroy Lindo gives him a hug. Delroy Lindo's wife is sitting there with like literally her hand on her heart. Like, she's like, I'm like, calm down, calm down. You're a person of a certain age. Like, don't get too excited. Wumi and her husband are sitting, I think, 2 rows back behind Michael B. Jordan. And she's literally, this woman is 8 or 9 months pregnant and is literally jumping up and down, clapping like a little child. Like, she's so, 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 so happy for him. And I was like, Wumi's face, Wumi jumping up and down, Wumi's glee is exactly how I felt in that moment. Like, just It was beautiful. And then he finally makes it to the stage. You can see Teyana Taylor. She's sitting on the other side of the room. She's in the front row because she was, nominated, and her film is up for Best Picture as well. She's going crazy, like yelling like she's at a concert, which I was like, yes, yes, all of this. This is the kind of excitement and enthusiasm that I want. And then I saw somebody else's face too. Sterling K. Brown looked like he was holding it together. Like he looked happy. He did his big one with this one. And this is, oh my God, I'm so choked up. This isn't like his call to make, like the Academy votes for him. He did his best work with Sinners, and he's been going to all the award shows, and they've been pushing Sinners like for your consideration and all of that. Like, but he did the work. I like many people, I mean, some new quote unquote new. I was introduced to Michael B. Jordan when he was Wallace on The Wire. And I can't say that I had any great expectations for him. He was great at the role. I cried when he died on The Wire because his death was really, really, really awful. But he was a good actor. I wouldn't say anything that, like, specifically stood out. He was 14, 15 years old. He's either 38, 39, something like that now. Like, we watched him grow up. And I always talk about, like, oh, well, I know him from The Wire. And then people were like, well, I remember him from Young and the Restless. He played some kid. I've never watched an episode of Young and the Restless. We were a Days of Our Lives house. But he did it. He really did it. And his speech was so good. He was nervous as hell. Bless his heart. He took the stage and I actually took notes. I want to make sure that I say everything that I need to say. He started off with "God is good." I didn't hear the response from the crowd though. I was like, y'all heard that man. Like, where's the response? Like, we were a call and response people. I know it wasn't a lot of black folk, but there should have been enough that we could hear the feedback. We could hear the response. No, he thanked his mama immediately. He thanked his daddy. I was never going to say a word because his mom is his date for all the award shows. And I understand that there's like, a limited amount of tickets. You can only do so much. But we hadn't seen his father in a while. And I kind of wondered where he was. Like, we saw the brother, we've seen the sister pop up, but we hadn't seen daddy in a while. But he shouted out his dad. He said his dad was in the room. He said, Daddy, where you? He said, Pop, where you at? His dad flew in from Ghana for the award show. To which I was like, what your daddy doing over in Ghana? That's none of my business. Okay. He thanked Ryan Coogler, obviously. Ryan Coogler sitting in the audience signing "I love you." Apparently his wife Zinzi Coogler, used to be or was at some point. She was a sign language interpreter. I mean, you don't have to be a sign language interpreter to know that. I just thought it was a little detail that was cute. And then also that Ryan Coogler is sitting around signing people "I love you." So, Michael B. Jordan tells him that, "I love you back, man." He thanks Coogler. He thanks, production and the team. He thanks the cast. He thanks some people specifically by name. And he takes a moment because he's like talking like a mile a minute, trying to, like, make sure he gets everybody in there. He takes a moment to take it all in, but then, like, he can't because he'll kind of lose it. So he comes back out. He thanks the other black actors who came before him, who also have Best Leading Actor and Actress. And so it's Sidney Poitier, Denzel Washington, Forrest Whitaker, Jamie Foxx, Will Smith, and Halle Berry. Did I say Will Smith? Will Smith. Which I definitely appreciated given the room, because not to bring up old shit, but Will is banned from the Oscars another 6-7 years because of the Chris Rock incident. So when Michael B. Jordan is listing off, the people who have won Best Actor, of which Will Smith is one, like, he doesn't leave Will's name off because of, his history in that room. Which, by the way, on the way here as in when I traveled from DC to South Africa, I finally watched King Richard on the plane. Will Smith deserved that Oscar. He over earned that Oscar. That film was amazing. And I sat in my seat and boo hooed. I mean, like, had to stop myself from sobbing, use my napkin to, like, had to wipe my whole face down. Like, it was bad. It was so bad. It was so bad. It was so bad. But I was like, oh wait, like, you're number 7? And how many years we've been doing this? But I'm glad that he is in that number. I thought he was amazing in Sinners. I think he's a really great actor. He did his big one. Why can I not stop crying? Very rarely do Black actors get awarded, I think, for what I consider their best work. I've said this in a previous episode. There's like Denzel Washington has his Best Actor award for Training Day, but not for Malcolm X. Halle Berry, that weird movie where she's like, I don't want to go into that, like make me feel good. Like, okay. Forrest Whitaker has it playing Idi Amin, the movie about Uganda, last King of Scotland. That was good acting. I think from what we've seen of Michael B. Jordan this far, I think this is his best work. I'm just goo gobs happy for him. Like just he did it. He did it. Oh, last but not least, this was also part of his speech. I love that he noted, I'm never gonna make it through this without crying. He noted that he can feel the energy from people who are rooting for him. And he was like, I can tell that you want me to succeed. It's so much pressure on him. He handles it gracefully, but it's so much pressure. But he said he would continue to be the best version of himself. This is how I feel. Stay with me. Harlem Nights, when Eddie Murphy apologizes to Della Reese for shooting her in the pinky toe. And Della Reese gets really like emotional and she's like, that little old boy, that little old boy, that little old boy. That's how I feel about Michael B. Jordan right now. I am not old enough to be his auntie. I am not old enough to be his mother. I used to have like a gigantic crush on him, but now I feel like he's more like a family member. Like I am proud like my brother or my cousin, like my first cousin, like on my mama's side. Like I am proud like one of my cousins just got an award. Like, and this ain't even his first award of the season. Like it's just the biggest. He did it. You would think this is this man's first award ever. He did it. There's so much noise around weight loss right now. Trends, opinions, medications. It's hard to know what's actually right for you. That's where hers comes in. Through hers, you're connected with a medical provider who determines if treatment is right for you. And if prescribed, your treatment plan is personalized to support you in reaching your goals. Hers goes beyond medication by offering access to ongoing care, dosage and medication adjustments as needed, lifestyle and nutrition tips, and access to 24/7 support. And the part that I absolutely love, they even offer the convenience of 100% online care with licensed providers on the other side. They'll learn your story and create a personalized plan to deliver healthy progress you can maintain. So, no more yo-yoing, just steady results. I love how easy hers makes it to lose weight with proper medical supervision. Feel like your best self again. Visit forhers.com/ratchet to get a personalized, affordable plan that gets you. That's forhers.com/ratchet. Forhers.com/ratchet. Weight loss by hers is not available everywhere. Compounded drug products are not approved or evaluated for safety, effectiveness, or quality by the FDA. Prescription required. See website for full details, important safety information, and restrictions. Actual price depends on product and plan purchased. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. March includes International Women's Day, a moment to celebrate women's strength and progress, while also recognizing how much they carry every day. Between caring for others and managing unseen responsibilities, their emotional well-being can easily be overlooked. I'm thinking of women like my mom, or your mom, or me, or you. As women, we rarely take the time we should to pause and reflect on the roles we play, the expectations that are placed on all of us, and all the pressures that we feel. Therapy can be a great way to do that, and a way to help us create balance, set healthy boundaries, and provide support for our overall well-being. BetterHelp is the perfect place to get, well, help. BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed in the US. They do the initial matching work for you so you can focus on your therapy goals. You fill out a short questionnaire that helps identify your needs and preferences, and BetterHelp will do the rest. I love BetterHelp because they make it so easy to get professional counseling. Everybody needs a little bit, even if you don't think so. Your emotional well-being matters. find support, and feel lighter in therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/ratchet. That's better, HELP.com/ratchet. There's some other things I want to talk about in regards to the Oscars. Delroy Lindo, who was up for Best Supporting Actor. Honestly, I didn't watch all the other movies. The only other movie I watched, I think, one battle after another, and it racked up like a ton of awards. And Sean Penn, who was in that movie, is who won over Delroy Lindo. And he wasn't even at the award show. Like, he notoriously doesn't show up for award shows. That's just not his thing. He just does the work and takes the money and spends it on his, humanitarian projects, which is fine. I take no issue with it. It's just that here you have someone who really gives two shits about the award, and I think he already has like a couple Oscars. And then you've got Delroy Lindo, who I genuinely believe did the best work between the two of them, because one battle after another. Like, I watched the film because Teyana Taylor, and I saw the conversation about it online, especially about the portrayal, the woman that she portrayed in the film. Like, I wanted to see for myself, like, what the complaint was about, and then also what the hype of the movie was about. I was like, how is this movie so popular, and Black women are just like ripping it like left and right? And so I was like, well, let me see it for myself so I can have like an informed opinion. Which my Black girls ain't never let me down yet on reviews on stuff. Like, very rarely are all Black women like, this is trash, and then like I watch it and be like, oh, this is amazing. I didn't care for the film. I didn't care for Teyana Taylor's role. Perhaps I liked Teyana Taylor, and so I want her to win. But like, I didn't think it was a great film. Didn't think it was a great role. Thought Delroy Lindo, and he's done this in every role that I've seen him in. But I thought he left it all on the floor for his role in Sinners, and he was on screen like everybody else when they were announcing the awards and they called Sean Penn's name, and he sat there like he didn't clap. He didn't pretend to be happy for someone else, because he's not. He has put in decades into this business, decades into his craft, and he is one of the best to ever do it. And he is not acknowledged in the top spot. So I see entirely why people are like, why have these award shows? Why go to these award shows? Why are Black people doing this to themselves? Why do you put your hopes and dreams on the approval, recognition, acknowledgement of others who fundamentally do not get you, do not want you, do not see you, do not respect you? I get it. I get it. And still, the swell of joy and pride and accomplishment that I have secondhand for Michael B. Jordan right now, like, I get why people still show up. But Delroy Lindo hurt my heart. Like, he's a man of a certain age. I mean, I hope he sticks around for like another 25 years, but like, I want to see him get his now. Like, it's been long enough and he's done the work. I'm like, you didn't get it for West Indian Archie. Like, you should have got it for this. Like, and didn't. Also notable, like, now that we talked about like the good with Michael B. Jordan, we can talk about some other things. Sinners was up for 16 nominations, as I said earlier, and they only received four. Only is subjective. People, by people I mean like me and all the Black people I know, wanted Sinners to take Best Picture, wanted Ryan Coogler to get Best Director at the very least. Sinners is literally the most nominated film in Oscar history. You gave it all these nominations, but you didn't give it the big wins. Best Actor, yes. And Coogler got Best Original Screenplay. Like, he is a writer's writer at heart, but he's also a damn good director, and that's powerful. He does both, and I wanted to see him acknowledged for both of those talents. I did. It was overall a good Oscars, not the best, not the worst. Just like I said, the red carpet didn't really do it for me. Other than Teyana Taylor, there was nobody I was really like gasping about. Oh, that's not true. The young lady who played Pearline in Sinners, she had on like this blue dress. It didn't get a lot of attention. I saw her in the background or something and was like, good God, she looked amazing. Everybody else, not necessarily bad, just not necessarily worthy of commentary, I feel. Oh, before we wrap our Oscar coverage, I did see this and I debated whether to speak about it because I don't know. I don't like to make a big deal about a woman having a man. Like, I don't think that that's the most important part of a woman's life. As a matter of fact, I find it often to be the least interesting thing about a woman. But like, okay, Ava DuVernay. debuted her boo, her honey, on the Oscars red carpet. She was in conversation with Essence, and they asked her some question about, like, like, what are you most proud of? What's the best thing going on in your life? What are you anticipating? Like, one of those, like, very generic questions. And then Ava was like, well, and you could see from a previous cut of the interview that she was holding someone's hand who was in a suit and was taller than her. And I was like, oh, that's a man. We haven't seen her with anyone. And people were starting to do Ava kind of like how they do Tracy Ellis Ross. In conversation with her, like, it would start off to talk about, like, her work and her thoughts on big important things, and then it would always drift over into, like, her representation of being, like, black and single and not married and no kids over a certain age. And it was starting to become like a label on her. So I appreciated that she popped out with this man who apparently he's been around for a while. She's been keeping him in hiding. And I was like, thank you for letting us know. And please put him back where he was. We don't need to see him every day. I like it lots when ladies do kind of what Issa Rae did. Like, she popped up with the whole husband and was like, okay, now y'all know I got somebody. And then, like, we ain't seen that man maybe twice since. And that was like years ago when she got married. We don't see that man. He comes up in conversation every now and again, like in an interview or something, but she's not like a my man, my man, my man, my man, to the point that she makes having one her whole identity. Like, you can see when she posts, like, her travel pics and such, you can see that he's a presence there. But otherwise, like, she's not, like, all about him. So, like, thank you, cousin Ava, because she don't like to be called auntie. Thank you, cousin Ava, for letting us know that you are being loved, and apparently loved well. You look very fabulous, look very happy. Both of y'all was sitting up on camera smiling with all of your teeth. I'm happy to know that you have love in your life, and that's all I need to know. I don't need to know no details about this man. I don't want to be in your business. I'm just happy knowing that you're happy. That's enough for me. That's all I have to say about that. Because people were sending it to me and was like, "Girl, Ava got a man," and I was like, "And they not hard to find. Good ones, perhaps, but just a man." Literally, they're half the population of the world. Very good, Ava. Thank you for sharing this bit of yourself. I know you've been keeping this close to the chest for whatever reasons you feel fit. You owe us no explanation. Just like Michelle Obama, who still ain't said shit about why she didn't go to that funeral or the memorial. Either one. She ain't said a goddamn word. And I hope she never does. But thank you for sharing your partner. And if you'd like to close the door and kick us out, that's also fine too. Either or, whatever makes you happy. I just want you to be happy. It seems that you are, so I'm fine with Mr. Man. Okay, carry on. While we're talking about relationships, and I hate to talk about it, I really do. I avoided it at the top of the podcast because I was going to skip it. Michael B. Jordan showed up at the Oscars where he won Best Lead Male Actor. He showed up with his mom, and he's been showing up, I don't know if all of award season, I think for every major one, with his mom by his side. I know she was at BAFTAs. I know she was at SAG AFTRA. She's been by his side. She's been his plus one, which I take no issue with whatsoever. Showing up on a red carpet with someone as a celebrity, that person is forever, for lack of a better word, imprinted with you. If it's not someone that you're super serious about, it makes no sense to do. So if he doesn't have a girlfriend, even if he does, maybe he doesn't have someone who is up for the scrutiny. Maybe he's in, situationship with someone and they're just not there in order to, come forth to the public and deal with all of the attention and questions and backlash, because that's part of it too, that comes with that. So I totally understand. Like, your mom is a safe date. He shows up to the Oscars with his mom, with his father who flew in from Ghana, with his brother and his sister, with Ryan Coogler and Delroy Lindo, who is clearly a father figure to him, his castmate Wumi. He has community with him. He has people who love him. If you see the after shots of the Oscars, there's him and Leonardo DiCaprio, who was also nominated in the same category as him. So technically, Leonardo DiCaprio just lost, but he's like in I can't even call it a bear hug. It was a very fatherly exchange. Like, Michael B. Jordan, like, just really needed a hug, and Leonardo DiCaprio was providing him with that. I think it was Adrian Brody who walked Michael B. Jordan off the stage. It looked like his legs were about to give out. Like, Brody looks like he's literally, like, emotionally and kind of physically holding him up. He is not without love. He is not without care. He is not without community. And it's very weird because I don't think I can recall ever a time before where someone is concerned about the relationship status of a rich and famous black man. I've only seen people do this with, just like we just discussed, with Ava DuVernay, with Tracy Ellis Ross, with other single women. I mean, just in general, not even in Hollywood, but they get a lot of attention for their relationship status because they're in the public light. But I've never seen anybody do this with a man before, particularly a black man. I don't quite understand what's the shift is here, where there's a call for this particular black man to be in a relationship and then concerned about how lonely he must be because he's not married or not partnered or doesn't have children at 39. It's it's also very interesting that it's discussed that his relationship status or lack thereof is discussed with concern, with care, with maybe a bit of pity, but definitely not with anger and hostility that usually comes when people are discussing the relationship statuses. I think of any woman over like 30, like, where is your husband? Where are your kids? It's very accusatory. It's very like something must be wrong with you. It's a critique of every, public mistake you've ever made, of your body, your hair, your face structure, your phenotype, like everything comes into play. Like, it's a justification of like why you can't find someone or keep someone, or just you're too independent, make too much money, think too highly of yourself. It's all these really negative attributes. And with Michael B. Jordan, it's this deep concern that, like, I hope he finds someone so that he's not lonely. And I'm like, that man never told y'all he was lonely. He showed up to the Oscars with his whole family, surrounded in community. When he took the stage, people were literally beaming at him. Like, you could feel the love through the screen. Now, the way Too Many White Folks had a breakdown the next day calling him a DEI Oscar win, I'm like, hey, 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 it's been nearly 100 years of the Oscars. There's only 6 black men. Six, one, two, three, four, five, six, and one black woman, Halle Berry, and that's it, who have won Best Lead. That's it. To call any win by any black person, given the history of whiteness at the Oscars, given the obvious racism of the Oscars, and to be like, oh, he's a DEI hire in this environment. If they wanted to pick somebody white, they would have. It wasn't DEI. His talent in this role was absolutely undeniable, and still the Oscars have denied others. Denzel for Malcolm X. I'm never letting it go. I'm never letting it go. I'm never letting it go. At the same time, people are talking about Michael B. Jordan and his loneliness and how, like, he had to show up to the Oscars by himself. I'm like, his mama was sitting right there, right there. Then they start talking about, like, oh, damn, Lori Harvey must be, just in her feelings. Lori Harvey must be kicking herself. Lori Harvey must feel awful. We were talking about the same Lori Harvey with Damson Idris. And Damson Idris was also at the Oscars this year because his film was nominated for Best Picture, F1. That Damson Idris, they just did a film with Brad Pitt, who on the red carpet just talked about his new film. He's in, I think, Blood and Bone. I ran into him over here in Africa, one of the See Some World trips. He was in town taping a film, and he was grabbing dinner at the Nines. That's where we were having our dinner that night. Yes, that Damson Idris. You talking about Damson Idris, who announced on the red carpet that he's playing Miles Davis? You talk about Franklin Saint, brick by brick. Damson Idris, mark my words, will end up with an Oscar one day. It's almost inevitable because he is immensely talented, and there's no need to compare his talent to Michael B. Jordan's talent. But to act like Lori Harvey is in shambles because Michael B. Jordan just won an Oscar, her ex of 3 years, while she's with someone who was also attending the Oscars, maybe didn't win, but don't act like she's with some slouch dude. Come on now, come on. He may not be Oscar nominated, Oscar winner Michael B. Jordan, but he is somebody. Don't play that man like that, and don't play her like that. You hate when people do it to Kayla Nicole about Travis Kelce. They're like, hey, them folks been apart forever and a day. She only speaks his name when people keep bringing it up because they're harassing her about him. But otherwise, the lady has moved on with her life. Does Lori Harvey not look like she has moved on with her life? She's been with Damson Idris for the better part of, I think, 2 years at this point. There was allegedly a breakup, but that was really just to get folks off their ass. But they still together. Recently there was behind the scenes photos, like she's tonguing him down in like on a hotel balcony. They're getting out of a car someplace, she's walking into a building and he's following behind her. They're spotted together all the time, weddings, and she's fine. She ain't said a peep. The girl really barely speaks. She'll give you an interview every once in a while, but the girl, she doesn't have a podcast. She's not giving play-by-play commentary of her life. She really just goes and lives her life and does her work. Because people be like, well, what does she do besides date people? Like, she has a whole skincare line. I think she has a swimsuit line too. Like, the girl does work. And even if she was just a regular socialite, somehow we don't require white folks to always have jobs. That's a separate conversation for a separate day. But the idea that like Lori Harvey would be devastated because her ex of 3 years, they broke up for whatever reason they did. And by all accounts, Lori Harvey was the one that did the breaking. Vilify this woman, one, for dating, and then two, because she didn't want to be with somebody and didn't string them along about it. Okay. Not okay. And I guess while we're talking about double standards, we need to talk about Teyana Taylor too. This is one that I didn't want to talk about as well. I want to talk about the Oscars comprehensively, but I also feel like really good things happen at the Oscars for Black folks. And to talk about all the things that didn't go right or things that were a mess, it almost feels like it takes away from the beauty of the good moments. But I'm not the Oscars publicist, so we'll talk about it. So Teyana Taylor has been out and about all award season because she's been nominated for 50 million awards. Every big award show, she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress for her role in One Battle After Another. I've said many times how I feel about the movie. There's no need to belabor the point. I still support Teyana Taylor. People have been complaining that Teyana Taylor is being shoved down our throats. Teyana's also worked her ass off, which we've all witnessed for the better part of 20 years. Let that girl have her moment, especially at the Oscars. So, two things, maybe three, two big things happen at the Oscars. One Battle After Another racks up awards. Teyana Taylor goes on stage at least once, and as she's going on stage with the director of the film, she's really excited. She's bouncing all over the place. She's got her arm around him at first. Then she puts the other arm around him, which, results in a chokehold. She is in no way trying to harm this man. She is not being violent in any way. She's being a goofball. I've watched the video a few times. He doesn't seem to mind. The director doesn't seem to mind. He knows who he's working with. They were on a film set together forever and a day filming this movie because filming takes forever and a day. They've gotten to know each other. There's another video. Teyana's on the red carpet. He calls her by her name in the film. She looks over to him, and then they have like this whole like goofy back and forth. They like each other. He has not spoken out and said, I'm mad Teyana Taylor, manhandled me or wrestled me or chokehold or put me in a chokehold. Like, that man don't care. That man don't care. And then people were like, well, she got on stage and it was an award for the producers, I think. But it wasn't her specific award. But she stood in the back and she was holding the Oscar. And people were like, well, she's being selfish because it wasn't her award. She's not the producer. She's not the whoever. But it was like, well, why does she get to hold the award? The girl probably didn't even think about it. She probably was just holding it and just held it because people were speaking. I don't know. You think she took it home with her? People are getting nitpicky because they don't like her for whatever reason. She was sitting in the front at the awards ceremony, like literally the front row, and she was like clapping, standing up, like applauding people. Like she was going crazy in support of people. And people are like, why is she acting like she ain't never been nowhere? Has she been to the Oscars before? There are people whose behavior at certain events, Tiffany Haddish, that I've had things to say about because I was like, girl, you doing the most. It was cooning. But like, I didn't feel Teyana Taylor was doing that in any way. It was giving excitement to me. And maybe I have a bias because I like the girl. There was another incident at the Oscars, which I really felt bad for her. She was on a red carpet. There's video of it, and she's yelling at someone, and she's saying, you're rude, you're very rude, you're rude, you're very rude. And people are chastising her for calling this person rude. And one of the women, it's an older woman with gray hair, and she explains to the woman, she gave her more answers than I thought she needed to, but she explains to the woman that he shoved me and that he also shoved somebody else. And you can't just walk around shoving people, which, like, she was like, he shoved a female. Like, if I get shoved, I'm well within bounds to call out the person who shoved me. And I think saying you're rude, you're very rude, is a mild reaction to being shoved. I also need to acknowledge that she's there. Her mother is standing right behind her. It looks like a woman who's her publicist is there. That might be her father that's standing there with her mother. There's another black man there. And I'm like, how are you, the Oscar nominee, the A-list celebrity, getting shoved in the middle of a red carpet, surrounded by people, surrounded by your mama, the man who I think is your daddy, your publicist, and probably other people from your team, and you have to be the one to check the person that did the shoving. Nobody stood up for you? Why not? Like, you don't want the girl to act an ass. You don't want the girl to be, the exact situation which is happening, which is someone filmed her yelling at someone. And I'm sure her team and probably the woman who was chastising her is thinking about her image as a young black woman looking angry, and that people will not acknowledge the harm that's been done to her, her reaction to something that's been done to her, and just see the anger and run with the stereotypes people have about black women. I understand that. I understand that. That's really unfair for black women to have to deal with. But I also am upset that if you don't want that situation to happen, then somebody else has to step in and defend her. And no one did. And then, in fact, no one defended her. And then someone is to her face while she's recovering from harm, from literally being shoved, is chastising her for her reaction to the harm that was done. While that person also didn't do shit to mitigate the situation. Like, she's directing her concern to her on like why she's, making this noise or reacting this way instead of reacting to the person who did the shoving. I appreciate this, at least about the Oscars. They're handling the situation far better than the BAFTAs did. Not that this is on the same level, but similarly, the Oscars and the security company that was doing the red carpet both issued statements saying that they're apologetic for what happened to Teyana Taylor, that the person who was doing the security, it will be handled on that end because what happened to her was wrong and that never should have happened to her. Strangers looking out for you more than your team. Your mom and your daddy are guests. They're, A-list adjacent to you. If your mom and your daddy act up, then it's Tiana Taylor's parents did whatever, whatever, whatever. But your publicist, you don't have no private security. All those people standing around you, nobody can say anything in support of you. That's not right. She deserved better. She deserved better than that, and she deserves better than being dragged online for nitpicky shit just because people are like, oh, she's overexposed, which there may be truth in that. But that girl worked goddamn hard to get to the front row of the Oscars. You got to let her have that moment. You got to let her be happy. You got to let her be excited. You got to let her say yes to every interview and yes to every cover. This is what this girl has dreamed of her whole damn life and demonstrably done the work. That's my new favorite word. I don't like what folks are doing to her right now. It's not right. It's not right. I like my underwear so comfortable that it feels like I'm not wearing any. I have to share the most amazing underwear that I've discovered. It's the Fits Everybody collection from SKIMS. It's like nothing I've tried before. I've never worn intimates that fit and feel like this. And by feel like this, I mean it feels like I have nothing on. That's how comfortable it is. I'm a brief girl. I like a big panty. I tried the Fits Everybody full brief from SKIMS, and I absolutely love it. And they come in a color that is identical to my skin. So not only do I not feel like I have anything on, I don't look like it either. If you haven't tried the Fits Everybody full brief from SKIMS, you are missing out. I started wearing them a couple months ago. I don't wear anything else. I have enough of these undies to get me through a full vacation. It's truly life-changing. Everyone should experience this level of comfort in their life. If you're ready, shop SKIMS Fits Everybody collection at skims.com. After you place your order, be sure to let them know we sent you. Select podcast in the survey and be sure to select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. I missed this talking about it last week. We had the conversation with Ashley and then like some other stuff. So I didn't have it in my notes, but it was in the back of my head to talk about. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned it. Your boy Mathew Knowles. I can't claim him. I can't claim him. I can't claim him. The man that used to be married to Tina, Beyonce's father, him over there. He did an interview with Candace Gibson, a well-known journalist. I used to do interviews with him when he was on MSNBC. He used to bring me on to give commentary. I think now he's at Pix 11 in New York. He had an interview with Mathew Knowles. From what I've read, Lauren LaRosa followed up after the incident I'm about to describe and asked Candace. They were like, hey, like, was there any parameters on your interview? And he was like, nope, we asked him to come in to talk about himself and what he's got going on. And we did that. And then, everything went left. So they do the interview, of which I did not watch the whole thing. And Candace asked him a question, friendly conversation, nothing too invasive. And he asked Father Knowles something very generic that is largely accepted as fact, that was in no way shady or underhanded or a jab or anything. But he said something like, you and Tina, this is largely agreed upon as fact, right? Do we have the clip?
You guys put in the work, and obviously the talent was there with your kids and your grandkids.
What work did she put in?
In the hair.
Okay,
clothing,
yeah, you're absolutely right. And the styling.
The styling.
The imaging, you're right.
She claimed to have preyed on the name, and different aspects of that.
Sure. Sure.
So, yeah. It's a joint effort.
We'll stop now.
Sorry, did I say something wrong?
No. We're good.
All right.
What? Now, Candace, I will give him credit, handled that beautifully. Because he's like, what did she do? And he was like confused because, again, it's like I've stated the sky is blue, and now you're arguing with me about a largely accepted fact. And then Mathew Knowles acknowledges, and he was like, yes, she did the hair, she did the styling, seemingly all he's willing to give her. And then he says, we'll cut the interview here. And Candace is super confused because he's like, and he literally asked, and he said, did I say something wrong? Did I do something? And he was like, no, you didn't do anything. And then he gets up and walks out. Huh? Well, now clearly they got some ish going on behind the scenes. All cannot be well for him to be acting like this. Or you know what? That's not true. He could just be being an ass, and Mama Tina could be minding her business and being very unbothered. Clearly he has. I'm gonna put that on her. Clearly he has some bitterness in his heart about this woman. They were married for 31 years. He'd been with his new wife for like a decade. By Mama Tina's account, she says he cheated on her all through the marriage. So maybe that's part of his issue, is that she wrote the book. She didn't go in like Sheila did on Bob, which if you never read Sheila Johnson's book, that's the best read I've heard since like Paris is Burning. She dragged that man on every page possible. She hates him and should, because Bob was a menace. A menace. Not the point. The point is, Tina told a lot of tea. It's her story. It happened to her. It's her story to tell. I'm not mad she told the tea. Well, maybe that's why Mathew was mad. There could be other reasons. I don't know these people. But maybe he feels called out because Tina told people about his infidelity and about how dirty he did her. I don't care how mad you are at your ex-wife. For whatever reasons you are mad at your ex-wife. Y'all are grown people, literally in your 70s. You done moved on to a new wife. You have young children, at least way younger than your first two, that you're raising. Miss Tina been married and then also divorced. Y'all have moved on by all accounts. If y'all have issues, or you, not even y'all, let me not put Miss Tina in this because she ain't said a word about it. If you have issues, that's some ish that you need to lash out privately if you must insist on lashing out. Because you look crazy. All he had to do for this whole interview, all he had to say was, yes, I'm very proud of that. We did a great job. That's it. But you want to sit up there, what did she do? What did she do? What did her mother What did her mother do? Her mother. Not some random lady, not your secretary, not like some lady who was an assistant for a couple years. Like, no, her mother. She birthed the product that you're so proud of. The product that you want to claim, like, exclusively, you did all the work. She literally created the product. Now, did you have some help in it? It was minimal. By all accounts, biologically, she did the heavy lifting here. But just also, like, as you acknowledge, Tina did the styling, Tina did the hair. She saved y'all millions, millions. Because by all accounts, people didn't want to style Destiny's Child. They were too black, they were too country, they were too ghetto. People didn't want to style them. So Tina sat around literally cutting up fabric and sewing clothes together. Now, some people didn't like the clothes. However you feel about the clothes, the girls didn't show up on stage naked. Now, they might have been half naked, but that was intentional. But they didn't show up naked. And their hair was done. You might not always like the styles, but the hair was actually done. She saved you millions on a stylist, millions on clothes. And you're gonna ask, like, well, what did she do? In addition to birthing your biggest project, in addition to that, okay. She's their mother. She's their emotional center. While you got people running in heels on treadmills and singing at the same time, which is important. While you got the girls practicing all hours of the day and night, which is important because it got them to where they are. Like, that's important. But like, somebody had to cook the food, somebody had to wash the clothes, somebody had to do the hair. Not just when they were on stage, but when they were still going to school every day. Somebody had to brush the teeth and wash the face. Somebody had to teach you to read. Like, the things that a mother typically does. And you want to really sit here and be like, what did she do? Like, you can't remember. Like, it's not top of mind for you. Like, you can't think of anything that was so important that she did that it would just come to mind for you. Really? Really? Did. I never finished Miss Tina's book. I did buy it. I read like the first chapter or so and then got distracted with something else. And that's no shade to the book. I just had a lot going on at the time and I didn't pick it back up. But I need to now. People who read Miss Tina's book were like, hey, 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 if Miss Tina did nothing else, when you quit your good corporate job to focus on Destiny's Child full time and take them to the next level, it was Tina, your wife, who worked and brought in good income from her successful business. Her successful business. Tina paid the bills in that house. When the mortgage needed to be paid, when food needed to be bought, when y'all needed to be sheltered and fed, Tina took care of that. To turn around and be like, what did she do? Sir, Matthew, do better. Because you were trying to shade your ex-wife and you're the one that looks fucking crazy. Because everybody was like, what did Beyonce's mama do? Who be at every event? Who be on tour with Beyonce and watching the kids and still posting Beyonce like she's her personal publicist? That Miss Tina, what did she do? What is she still doing? It's not past tense. That wasn't right. And also, I think it's worth mentioning, even if there was no book for Miss Tina, we know Miss Tina's contributions because Beyonce tells us. Now, she done made songs about you. She also has told us, I got that shit from Tina. She's very, very clear. What did she do? She got that shit from Tina. That's what she did. That's what she did for Beyonce because Beyonce got the shit from her. That pissed me off so bad. Yes, you rehearsed, and yes, you made the deals, and yes, you got them monies on the table and brand deals and all of those things. Yes, you booked them. You booked them for the big events. Yes, you got them on the award shows. Yes, I've taken none of that from him. None of that for him, and there's no need to. But to pretend like that's all that matters, somebody had to feed them. Somebody had to keep them safe from all the predators in this industry. There was a running joke for years, actually, if we keep it 100, up until she left you. How everybody would talk about how Miss Tina always walking around with a scowl on her face, that red lipstick and a scowl on her face, and she was always in the background or something, and Beyonce could barely breathe because Miss Tina was always up under her. There was some interview, somebody asked Beyonce, they were trying to get her like a gotcha question, and Beyonce just sat there. She started elbowing her mama, like, hey, deal with that. Like, that's what she did. She kept your daughter safe while you were out wheeling and dealing and making the deals and doing all like the big boy shit. She was making sure none of them niggas was molesting your child. Not all men. I'm not even gonna do that today. This man, nigga, really? He tried it. Speaking of niggas that try it, I'm not gonna go into detail about this. I watched this show on Netflix, Blue Therapy. I can't even recommend that you torture yourself in this way. On Threads, everyone and their mom was talking about this show with this man who quit his job and didn't tell his girlfriend for 2 months and was getting up every day and pretending to go to work. Who actually does that? This nigga. So I was like, let me watch the show and see what it's about. So it's six couples where at least one person is black. Some of them are in interracial relationships, and there's this white therapist, which I was like, this is a choice. Like, and the couples are from the UK. So I was like, you went and got all these black people to put them on the show, and they didn't get them like a culturally sensitive therapist? Why? Okay. If the therapist was, no, I'm gonna say she's bad. So there's six couples. There's a woman who makes double or triple what her man makes. She pays 70% of the bills in the house. He has a child from a previous relationship, and then there's the child that they made together. She buys groceries for the house. He goes out and buys frivolous shit. Like, he likes cologne. And so he'll go buy 7 or 8 colognes at a time. She was under the impression that he was $6,000 in debt. He tells her in the therapy session on TV that in fact it's not 6,000, it's 12,000. And she's like, "What?" And then he proceeds to tell her that he lost his job 2 months ago and has been getting up, going to work, leaving at the same time she does, and then waiting until he sees her go. And then he drives back around and stays in the house all day. Nigga. Somehow, despite this admission, the therapist's ultimate suggestion to her is that she has control issues and that she's mommying him and she's not giving him a chance to be responsible and show himself to be a man, an adult, a leader in the house. And I was like, she acts like mommy because he acts like a child. Like, asking her to, like, pull back and do less and like give him basically more rope to hang himself makes no sense when he lies to you about his amount of debt and about losing his job. But the solution is things that she needs to change. This grown ass man with no job came into the therapy session and he was like, "Oh, I just want y'all to know I went and, like, test drove a luxury car." And the therapist and the girlfriend are both sitting there like with breath that is bated because they expecting this man to say that he went and bought this car despite having no job. And then he says, "Well, I drove it. And then I realized, the responsible thing to do is not to buy a car given the circumstances and that, I don't have a job." And they both sit there and applaud him like he's a 3-year old, like he's a toddler who, like, I don't know, pooped on his own for the first time. Like, instead of a grown ass man. Like, yes, you're supposed to be making responsible decisions. You're a grown ass man. And when I say grown ass man, like, he's in his 30s. He is a father of 2. He wanted a pat on the fucking head for not buying a car when he ain't got no job. Okay, Tommy. Okay, Tommy. There's another couple. Out of all the couples, only one of them made sense. There's another couple. They've been dating 7 to 8 years. She desperately wants to get married. He doesn't believe in marriage. But he's brought her 2 promise rings, which he told her this is, leading to marriage. And then in therapy, he's like, "Yeah, no, I don't believe in the concept. Like, don't believe in it, don't want to do it, just not my thing." And so she's like, "You've been leading me along for 7 or 8 years. Why are y'all together?" Like, there's middle ground that can be met in some instances. Like, this one couple, this is the only one I thought like actually needed to stay together and they could work their things out. She used to be a power chick. She gets married. She gets pregnant quickly. And then I think again, she has 2 young children. She's a stay-at-home mom now. He's working full time to support the house. He's not spending enough time with her. She feels like all she does is hang out with the kids. He's a workaholic. He is spending more time with like his friends and coworkers than he does with her. And the therapist is like, "Hey, you need to like date your wife more. Y'all need to make time for each other, even if it has to be scheduled." But like, there wasn't like a meanness to what he was doing. And then some things came out about some things that had happened in a relationship, not like, and not cheating, not infidelity, not betrayal, anything like that. But they had had some grief. I don't want to give everything away, but they had some grief in their relationship. And so once that came to the surface, it was like, oh, he's throwing himself into his work so he doesn't have to deal with the grief. Okay. That's something you could work with. Everybody else, there was this other woman. Dude is a workaholic. This is not her husband. They've been together for 7, 8 years too. He's a restaurateur. He don't spend no time with her. And she's like, hey, I'm your girlfriend. And like, we don't go on dates. You just buy me expensive shit. He also has controlling tendencies. He tracks her on her phone. And if she's somewhere and he thinks it's too late and she needs to be at home, and by too late, like midnight, he'll tell her, oh, I sent a car for you. The car is outside. Get in the car and go home. Like, what? She doesn't do the same for him, obviously. But she was like, hey, like, we're not spending time together. Like, I just kind of feel like an accessory. Like, when you're bored, you pick me up to play with. But otherwise, like, you're all about your work. And I feel like you don't really care about me, our future, what we're building together, quality time, none of that. And in a nutshell, he was like, I don't. Why are you there? Therapist says, you know what, y'all should carve out some time together, like have a proper date night, spend time together. Same things the other woman wanted. So the therapist was like, make time, set some time so y'all can do some things together. They set some time to do some things together. He shows up 90 minutes late, not because he's at work. He had tickets to a football game, didn't tell her, and so she sat at the house waiting for him. And I don't even think he called. And then when he finally shows up, she's like, hey, we were set for XYZ time. It's 90 minutes later. He's like, I'm here, aren't I? And just for clarity, because so many people like talking about the show, we're like, oh, she's a gold digger. He's paying for her lifestyle. I'm like, y'all need to listen closely. They don't live in the same house. And she has a full-time job. She's not living off of him. He buys her gifts. And she specifically said, I don't even wear the stuff that you buy me. I don't even do anything with the stuff you give me because that's not what I want from you. I want your time. I don't want you to just buy me gifts because you feel guilty or you want to shut me up because I'm not behaving the way that you want. You want me to just get out of your hair so you can like go do the things that you actually want to do instead of actually being with me. And the therapist's advice to her was basically suck it up. Like, what? There was another couple, the lady cheated all the time. And the therapist's advice to the cheatee, not the cheater, was like, yeah, like you don't have any friends and you're an introvert. And so you need to find things to do in your life outside of your person because like you're putting too much pressure on her. Nothing about like the cheating. And I was like, oh, what the fuck am I watching? What am I watching? Why am I watching this? Like, I watched all of these women, and not that they were perfect, but it was like he does some level 10 catastrophic shit. And then she does like, I don't know, like some level 4 shit. Last one, I promise. This man is married to a woman. They've been together for like 20 some odd years. They already have 3 kids. They're married, right? Already have 3 kids. She wants a fourth child. He said he was on board with a fourth child. She finds women DMing him, her husband, and on his birthday. And she tells the husband, I want a divorce. And they separate. He maintains that his birthday is his most special day. It's his only special day of the year. It's the only time he gets to feel important. And she ruined his day by asking him for a divorce after she found women in his DMs. So, in revenge, because that's essentially what it was, he gets a vasectomy. So now she can't have her fourth child. And she was like, I've known him all this time. We met when we were kids. We've been married for like 20 years, or at least together. But she was like, he knows I want a fourth kid. I've been talking about a fourth kid. I've always wanted a big family. I've said this a million times. He knew this going in. And now he's got this vasectomy. She was like, you know what? It's okay because you told me that you froze your sperm. So we can find other ways to, do what we need to do as opposed to, the traditional route. That's fine. So he was like, oh, no, I also didn't do that. And she was like, no. Because I asked you very specifically, point blank, did you freeze your sperm? And you told me, yes, I froze my sperm. And now you're telling me that you not only lied to me about not freezing your sperm, you also lied to me about going to get this vasectomy without ever speaking to me, your wife of 20 some odd years, knowing that I wanted another baby, and then not telling me that you weren't on the same page. And he was like, well, I'm telling you now. Nigga. Yeah. It was 8 episodes, and they go by pretty fast, but it's 8 episodes of men doing crazy shit, the women being gaslit and negotiating with themselves how little they can accept in order to stay in the relationship. That's it. And I was just like, I don't really give relationship advice anymore for various reasons. One of them is because women be doing all this work on themselves, and men aren't really doing their work. You can work out everything that you need to, but if the person you're trying to be with has done no work, it's not going to be a match. Just is what it is. Okay. If you listen to nothing else I say, other than like, don't waste your pretty. This is all part of it though. Date, relate, marry people who actually like you. It seems like the most obvious thing in the world, but I'm watching this show, and granted, this is not a representation of all couples. These are couples that have been handpicked by producers because they have drama and because it makes for great TV. But I've heard some version of every single one of these stories before. Somebody wants to get married, the other person is dragging their feet. Somebody wants to have a kid, somebody lies, somebody doesn't have a job, like somebody spends up all the money, all sorts of stuff. But fundamentally, these people do not like you. If they did, they would treat you better. Think about the things that you do for other people in your life that you care about. You show up for them, right? Like you make sure if you're running late, you send them a text. You make sure to like schedule time to spend with them. You make sure that they feel like they are considered because they are somebody that you care about and you don't want them to feel slighted. You don't want them to be treated rudely. You don't want them to think that you don't care. Everybody makes mistakes for sure. But when people consistently go out of their way to show you that they don't give a fuck, it's because they don't give a fuck. Okay, I'm done. I said that was last but not least. I got to add one more thing because I would be very remiss, my other favorite word, not to speak about Jamal Bryant calling off the Target fast. Not to be confused with the Target boycott, which I only feel that distinction was very clear after he called off the fast and caused mass confusion. So, sometime last week, Jamal Bryant gets his happy ass up and he goes to meet with the Target people and he decides to make an announcement seemingly without consulting the people who actually, the women, the black women who actually, I mean the black women, like the official black women who were like, okay, we should do this boycott because Target is on some bullshit. But also, black women at large who were like, oh, Target's on some bullshit. I'm not shopping there anymore. I feel like there were women in leadership who were like, you know what? We need to organize. But I also feel like it was a very much groundswell thing with black women who were like, we're done. It was just sort of like a thing that the community came together on without someone telling us that we need to essentially vote with our dollars by no longer supporting Target. Jamal Bryant announces the end of the Target fast, which people, because he didn't make it clear, confused with him calling for the end of the Target boycott, and people go batshit crazy because who the fuck are you to call off a boycott that no one thought you were even leading? Folks handed him his ass. He issued a 22-minute apology. I would say I did watch the whole thing. I watched the 22 minutes and I'm glad I did. I believe many things. I believe I have given Jamal Bryant excessive grace because of the new Mrs. Bryant. Carrie. I like her. Carrie, Dr. Carrie, put some respect on her name. I like her. I told you she blocked me. It's probably valid because I say shit about her husband. It's fine. I still like her because I think she's dope and he's married to her. I feel like there must have been some sort of change in him that allowed him to be with a woman such as Dr. Carey. That he must have better sense than he used to have. That if she is willing to be with him and she is someone who I believe has good sense, she sees him up close, she must see things that I don't see. And I trust her judgment as someone who's literally in the room, in the pulpit, in the bed. It's a testament to how associating yourself with a good woman, Barack Obama did this too, a good black woman can help your image, can give you grace that you may or may not deserve. Jonathan Majors. I watched the apology. I watched it with my English major eyes. My degree is specifically in English language rhetoric. And I watched it, thinking about the ethos, pathos, and logos of it all. Overall, it's a really good apology. He falls on the sword. He specifically states, I got it wrong. I didn't read the room correctly. I had the good intent of doing something and I fumbled it.
I was reading from a different sheet of music. I made assumptions that were not true. And I wanted to apologize to you for being a leader that was out of touch with what it is that the community wanted and sensed what it is that the community were demanding. And I've heard you, overwhelmingly so. And not having a good read of the room, I take full responsibility of.
In so many words, I'm summarizing. He acknowledges the strength of black women. He acknowledges that this whole boycott was started by black women. He names some specific black women, and he positions himself as, I'm not someone who is trying to co-opt the work, the leadership of black women. He was like, in this situation, I am a servant. I am not a leader. He talks about how he is the son of a strong woman. He is the brother of a strong, brilliant woman. He is the husband of a strong, brilliant woman. And I was like, I feel you, bro. I know where you're going with this, but I was like, you were also the son and brother of strong, brilliant women when you was in the pulpit talking about these hoes ain't loyal. Maybe you weren't married to one at the time. I don't know if he was still married to his first wife when he said that. Neither here nor there. I took notes. Let me consult my notes. He gives the backstory of how the boycott and the fast. The boycott is one thing. That's the thing that was started by black women. And then he talks about separately, he started the fast. And he talks about the lack of engagement that black folks are having in the church. They're not seeing the work being done. And so one of the reasons he wanted to support the boycott with the fast was because he wanted folks to see like the black church engaging in the community in ways that the community is in the ways that the community can see. Okay. Which I think is a good idea. I'm confused though in how multiple times he acknowledges the boycott is separate. This is something that I created in order to support the boycott. I acknowledge that there are black women who are leading this charge. I acknowledge like the community groundswell of this whole thing. Like I'm only a participant in it. And I'm like, okay, this is something that you didn't know until after people handed you your ass, after you went and was like, okay, the whole thing is over. Back up. He talks about the fast and the effectiveness of it. He says it was supposed to be 40 days, essentially for Lent, even though not Catholic, but he's acknowledging the same time period. Okay. He talks about 300,000 people signed up. It ended up going for more than a year. And he talks about how effective it was. I don't understand how he didn't understand while waking up one day and announcing that the whole thing was over, that the fast, like this, he's positioning it as I did this great thing and I added these great numbers into this movement that was already ongoing. So you didn't think that waking up one day and removing all that support, 300,000 people of support for more than a year, you didn't think that that would undermine the boycott? How? How? Well, he's apologizing and he's saying, I really didn't get it. I really didn't get it. Like I just, I massively miscalculated all of that. Jamal Bryant, I have many opinions on him. And I've said many, and many are not flattering. I've never called a man stupid. I don't think he's that at all. I don't understand how you, no one around you, your brilliant, well, she's passed, your brilliant sister, your brilliant wife, did you not run this idea about calling off the fast by them at all? Nobody in your whole circle told you this is a bad idea. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think your ego got in the way. I think you got this 300,000 people to sign on to this fast, and you thought you had greater power and greater influence than you actually have. Like you let somebody gas you, and then you went to essentially undermine, because there's no other way for that to be interpreted. Like, what was the reason to call off the fast? Like, you keep saying, Black women are in charge, Black women are leading, Black women, Black women, Black women. But when you had the opportunity, you didn't consult Black women. Because if you did, one of them, it don't even have to be one with a PhD. You really could have just found one leaving the Costco parking lot and be like, hey, what do you think? And she would have told you, no, nigga, that's a bad idea. Don't do that. He says he didn't make no money off of it. And he says it multiple times. He says, I was not personally enriched. No one in the church, no one affiliated with the church, no one I know, no friends of friends. Like, no one made any money off of this. And he was like, I literally did this out to serve the community because I am a servant and I want the best for Black folk. It's a no-win situation for him. Because the first thing I thought, and I was like, so you put yourself in this stupid ass situation for nothing? You took this huge blow to your reputation and your ego for nothing? You dumb. But then also, if he took the money, I'd be like, oh, you're a scammer. You just sold out Black people. It's a no-win situation. I can't believe he did this dumb shit. Oh, and in the midst of this, as he's giving this apology, he's talking about how he didn't give any money. He says that every time that he went to talk to Target, they paid for their own transportation, their own accommodation, like everything. The Target never paid them a dime. Target didn't even feed them when they were there. You jumped your happy ass out here, called that fast off, and undermined it. Because that's what you did, even if it wasn't your intent, so you say. But it undermined this boycott for nothing, for no money, and for people who didn't even respect you enough to call catering and bring up some sandwiches. You did all this dumb shit for what? For what? You got people behind the boycott by doing your fast, which you say is like a tactic for the boycott. But then you changed tactics and seemingly never said anything to the people running the actual boycott, not the Black women in leadership, and again, not the Black women on the ground. You just hopped yourself out here and designated yourself as a leader of some shit you don't lead, thinking that you had an impact that you don't have. It's a gross miscalculation that speaks even beyond the boycott. It's you not who you think you are. You don't have the range. It's a demonstration that you don't have the range that you thought you did. Or you purported that you did. That you marketed that you did. You did all this for what? For what? I understand people make mistakes. I also understand that some mistakes, like you can apologize for them, but there's nothing you can really do to undo the damage that has been done. You've gotten up here is not the leader that you thought you were, but a leader of some sort. And you've undermined, even if you swear that wasn't your intent, but that was the impact of it, you've undermined the movement of the boycott. How does that get undone? An apology doesn't undo it. And that's all I have to say about that. All right, that's the episode for this week. We'll be back next week. I'm about to gallop in around Johannesburg. I was thinking about doing 2 episodes. If something crazy happens, maybe. All right, be back next week. Thanks for listening. Bye.